Hello, everybody. Well, it seems that this particular location more and more is becoming the place where I do a lot of videos for a variety of channels. And I guess I couldn't, if I'm going to have a studio, so to speak, I couldn't speak, I couldn't think of a better studio than this. But you've got to be outdoors and in the majesty of grandeur. And these are not undue words. I mean, majesty, grandeur, splendid, magnificent, extravagant, awe-inspiring, everything. I just could go on and on. The sight that I see here every morning, and such sights exist all around the world because the sunrise happens around the world. So we all have to just go out and find the sunrise and watch the sunset, and all the stuff in between is good. All it's a lot more subtle. Speaking of subtle, the reason I started this video was I wanted to tell you about what's happening. It's been at least 2 weeks, or maybe 3 weeks, that I've been coming here every morning. And when I first came here, I would set up my tripod here and get the camera running on a time lapse as I've got here. And I'll try to go in without touching the camera. You can kind of see what I'm up to. I've got the camera focused on the very tip top of Mount Fuji, which is poking above the clouds there. Get the focus going there. There you go. Poking above the clouds there, and what I'm going to go for probably a good 20-minute exposure with the top, and maybe pull back for a 20-minute exposure on the larger atmosphere. And this plan is derived out of experience. I've basically been doing this now for enough time and been watching the atmosphere here that I'm gaining an understanding, if I do say so myself, of what's happening, which is true for anybody if you spend enough time doing anything. And what I'm hoping will happen here, let me share with you what my plan is. You can see the tip of Mount Fuji right there in the center of the screen. Now, if you look off to the clouds over there are moving gently to the right towards the Pacific Ocean, and that's how they always move. They always move across the mountain from left of the screen to the right of the screen at the level of the peak there. Now what's happening is that the clouds are a little bit diminished over here. You can kind of see they're a little bit diminished, and I'm hoping that as the dawn proceeds in the next, I have 15 more minutes for this close-up time lapse, as the dawn proceeds, that the clouds will dissipate a little bit, and it'll expose more of the actual face of the mountain. Right now only the broad and proud peak is showing, although you can see a big clump of clouds moving in right now. That'll make a nice one. Now what'll happen then is that I'll pan back to a wide angle shot from there, and what's happening here that you can't quite see, there's two atmospheric effects that are occurring right here, and you can't see them because they're so slow, but I've been watching them on time-lapse that I know what's going on if I can just see the particular elements. This large body of clouds right here, which would probably be quite visible from space, is when it's there, tends to move, whereas the clouds down here by Fuji move left to right here. These tend to move across the screen here. There's a large wave of atmosphere that's moving across like this. So these clouds are moving here, and this body of clouds are moving there. I'm going to try to capture that in another 20 minutes, 20-minute time lapse, and that should be spectacular, especially if the reddish glow there around the peak continues to develop. That'll be really nice. Well, look how this big body. Oh, I touched the camera. Bad. A nice jiggle there. Look at that big. There's a big clump of clouds building like a wave, generating a crash upon the side of Mount Fuji. That'll be neat. Now over here, what's interesting, I don't know if that wave will actually crash on Fuji, but it looks like it at least. What's happening over here, let's just pan across. Here's Fuji. Clouds are moving left to right here below the mountain. Big, huge wave of atmosphere moving here to the northeast, right here. And over here we have clouds that are moving, coming from Izu. These are lower clouds. These are high clouds up there. Cirrus clouds, I believe they're called. And these are more, I don't know, are these cumulus clouds? I'm not sure. These clouds are moving from right to left, so they're kind of going against the grain, so to speak. They're moving off of the Suruga Bay, and which is just over here. Suruga 1 is just over here. That famous bay full of fascinating, amazing sea life is just over there, and these clouds are moving across here. And if this body of clouds weren't here, you could see them stretching out their tendrils, which dissipate as they almost. If you go back far enough and look at it over a time lapse, you'll see them wisping out like they're reaching for Fuji and then dissipating. Can't quite reach it. It's an amazing sight to see, and those three effects are happening right now. Over there by Fuji, lower clouds, high cirrus clouds up in the sky. I believe they're cirrus clouds, and some smaller cumulus clouds moving in from the Izu Peninsula. And I'm going to try to capture those two effects in this one time lapse. It would be nice to try to get the third one, although that'll be a little trickier. There's also activity going on over here. The far peaks over here. These closer mountains are not the Alps, but way back there, the tips of the Japan Southern Alps, you can barely see. And often there is a show going on behind me here that I never show in the camera because it's a Mount Fuji focused thing. Well, there you go. Atmospheric thoughts. Hey, I like that idea. Atmospheric thoughts as we watch the atmosphere play around, near, and about the face of one of the world's great mountains. Take care, everybody. Oh, and I was just told yesterday about how Mount Fuji is warming up, possibly for an eruption. Isn't that interesting? So I'll try to follow up more information on that. Hopefully not an eruption, but it looks like that may be the case. So is the rumor now here in Shizuoka. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful morning. Enjoy the dawn and the sunset wherever you are. Bye-bye.